Okay, I'm going to try to film another full day of eating. I call this the official start of prep because I haven't had my food lowered in a while, and it just got lowered on Friday. So I'm going to put the new meals in, 15 and 16 weeks out. I just finished 30 minutes of cardio, elliptical. I got my morning drink here. I'll put the picture of what all entails in that. I'm going to try to remember everything that I do today. The meals, some of the supplements. I'm going to film a leg day, and I'm just going to try to maybe talk about some of the things that are changing. Not a whole lot. I did a pre-prep and I got in a pretty lean state with that. Got super freaking sick for 2 weeks, lost 21 pounds, turned it around, got almost all of it back, and it's been a whirlwind, but I think we are ready to start prep. I didn't think that it would turn around that fast, and I was fearful that I'd have to wait to do another prep, but I think I'm good. So I'll finish this morning drink and I'll get ready for work, and I'll make meal one, which I'll probably have to eat in the car on the way to work because I am always late. Oh yeah. Took 10 mgs of methylene blue pre-cardio. AppalachiaResearchDirect.com. Use my name when you sign in. By the way, why is when every bodybuilder does a full day of eating, they show off their Yu-Gi-Oh or their Dragon Ball Z collection? Like, just be normal, man. Anyway, this is meal one, and it is going on the road with me. 475 grams of egg whites, 1 whole egg, 2 pieces of Ezekiel bread, 60 grams cream of rice, 10 grams peanut butter, 17 grams of honey. Before meal two, I just want to share something that I think is important. Now, as a coach and somebody that wants to open themselves up to more coaching now, after experiencing my own bodybuilding, coaching here and there, and trying to turn pro in my mid-30s, I'm going to go back to 2016, 10 years ago, working with a coach for a spring show around this time, coming from a very overweight state before the prep started, and whole life, all I ever wanted to be was good at bodybuilding. Just be somebody, be out there, be a good bodybuilder, maybe turn pro. 2016, 23, 24 years old, probably could have been on my way to getting there much faster. Things hurt less. And so competing in May of 2016, extremely lean and over dieted. Now, having a coach that probably didn't really think I had any projectability, but still could have told me along the way that, okay, like, this isn't your show. This is a means of getting lean, achieving true contest condition. But the important part after this is the rebound. Don't even worry about your placing. Take it as a win that you got into contest shape. You got peeled for the first time in your life. You knew what it took. You saw what it experienced. Now, the rebound is boom. Like, you can do so much to advance yourself as a bodybuilder, and the rebound is the most important one. I don't care if you come in 16th place, which I did, but the rebound is the important part. And I didn't have that. I didn't really have that education. Uh, when it was done, it was done. Now, I did do a short little rebound myself. I coached myself for a show that year in November, and I did very well. I came in second in the super heavies, and I came back, a few months later, over 20-pound gain. And, but I was done. That's it. No rebound. I didn't have, that education of, dude, take advantage of this because you'll get there quicker. You won't be fighting for this at 34. You could be fighting for this at 27, 28. But, you know, things happen, and, that's why I'm here today. I want to be that educator, be that person that molds, let's say, hey, like, your timelines are important. You should always be 6 months ahead. I did the same thing in 2019, got into contest shape in November. That's it. No rebound. That's it. No clear and concise plan afterwards to say that, hey, look, the show's the show. This is a qualifier. You're not on the national level yet, but you're one off season away from maybe getting there with a rebound and plans and 16-week phases, but I was done. Competed in 2021. I wasn't expecting anything. Ended up winning it overall. And then again, no rebound, done. It wasn't until I won in 21 and then prepped 2 people in 2022 and saw the stage again, and I was like, okay, I'm going to turn it on now. But at that point, I had already screwed up the post show of the fall of 21, and I wasn't very lean at that point. I wasn't very fat. I was kind of in the middle, and I told myself, like, I'm going to turn it on from here. And I competed again in 2023 and won a show in 2023, and actually then took rebounds and off seasons seriously and figured out timelines and put plans in place that made sense. And, I was already, 31 years old at that point. Had I started that in 2016 at 23 or 24, I would be a lot further ahead. And I want to create that as my coaching philosophy. A lot of people market themselves around training mistakes and drug mistakes and nutrition mistakes and trying to teach people how to, learn for, like, hey, don't do what I did. I experienced it with you. I took X amount of this. I took Y amount of that. I'm going to make sure that you don't do that. But for me, I want to make sure that, okay, I didn't take advantage of rebounds. I didn't have clear and concise timelines. I didn't know how to navigate phases of bodybuilding. That's going to be what I want out of this more than anything, is to, okay, you always wanted to be a bodybuilder, but you had nobody telling you that, this is the important time here. This is the 16-week phase. This is everything. Everything needs to go into this. This placing, okay, yeah, it's fun to win, but it's also great to get yourself in shape and set yourself up. And okay, afterwards is what we need to put in. So I just wanted to share that before I ate pre-workout meal here, and really show the importance of that and emphasize that. Meal 2, this will be the pre-workout meal. 250 grams of chicken, 200 grams of rice, 5 grams olive oil, 115 grams of pineapple. Loading up for a nasty leg day. Although I'm not allowed to have hard leg days anymore because my CNS is fragile because I'm old and I keep getting sick if I do one extra set to failure. So I gotta be careful. All right, I'm gonna go through this as I'm cooking my next meal, my beef meal. Severe any spatula or sizzling going, that's what that is. So current leg day setup, I'm going to talk about several things. Exercise 1 is adductor. So if I do adductor first, I find that my hamstring curls feel exceptionally better. I don't know if it's just from the activation down there, but you'll see me go into hamstring curls second. I'm still doing the top set back off with the adductors and hamstring movements. But I'm going to get into what I'm doing with my quads a little bit later on. The hamstrings are still a weaker body part, so I start with them. I only get one leg day a week now, and some hamstring stuff on one of my back days. But the lower body being dominant, I only get one day a week. So I need to maximize it, and I need to be smart with it, especially going into prep. Starting prep now, I always run into a problem where at the end, my legs get heavy through just overall fatigue and losing body fat and throwing cardio in the mix. My legs get extremely heavy. And I think it was from always taking my quad sets to failure. So exercise 2 is a lying leg curl. Still doing top set back off with the lying leg curl. You'll see the top set, and you'll see it flash into the back off set. But again, going upon that, having the fatigue at the end of prep was drastically ruining my look on stage. And I think it was always just having that fatigue and those waste products just built. Just from always thinking I needed to take my sets to failure and just doing top set back off for my quads. It works for body parts, but I found that it does not work for me on quads. I don't know if it's because they become such a strong body part and I have such a great connection with them. I don't know. I'm thinking that might be a factor. But the fact that they are a strong body part, I can take my sets with some reps in reserve and do more of a pump-based workout and add a set, add a little bit of volume. We'll talk about that when I get into the quad work. Exercise 3 is a hip thrust. I have back the day before this leg workout. My back ends up being pretty sore, so in lieu of a RDL, I choose a hip thrust. I think they're similar. I think there's less fatigue in a hip thrust. I get really good connection with the glute and with the ham and with the prior adductor work. And I feel like this is a good movement for me in like a back relaxed pose. You always want to pick your movements based on weak points and poses. So in a back relaxed pose, in a back double bi, in a back lat spread, there is some weakness in the posterior chain. And I've done thousands of RDLs over the years and gone heavy with them, and I just didn't get the look that I wanted, and I can see it kind of manifesting with the hip thrust. So I'm still doing top set back on the hip thrust, but you'll see as I transition into quad work here, I always start with a leg extension pre-exhaust, but I do turn it into a mass building exercise, because I think that it is if you put the right emphasis in it. So I do 3 sets here, and I cut a set out of the video just so this YouTube video wouldn't be so long. But my first set is, I'm trying to get short at the top, and I'm trying to hold the squeeze. And I do that, and I keep the weight the same on the next 2 sets. So my first set was 120, and I'm trying to hold the squeeze at the top. And you'll see on this set here, I'm just pumping. First set was 120, trying to hold some squeeze, trying to get short at the top. Second set was 100, trying to get short at the top again. And the third set was 100, just pumping and squeezing. And then I move on to some calf after, to take away some of that localized fatigue in the quad. So if I can do the leg extension and go right into the calf raise, I am taking away some of the pre-exhaust fatigue in the quad, just from the 5-6 minutes or however I'm spending on the calf raise. And then I can go into my leg press with less fatigue in the quad, because I have 3 sets of it, and better ankle mobility to hit the depth of the leg press. And then, so my leg press sets, I have 3 sets filmed here. I like doing 3 sets on the leg press. I connect pretty well with the leg press, and I like to do them banded, because I do have the kind of inability to squeeze at the top, and I like that other kind of strength curve at the top. So I did 6 plates in a band on the first set, did 12, and I stopped kind of maybe 2-3 reps in reserve. And my second set was 5 plates in a band, same thing, 12. I'm stopping 2-3 in reserve, and making sure that I'm not kind of bouncing at the bottom at all, and I'm not feeling it anywhere in the knee. The weight might look light, but what's important for me on my quads is perfect form and just execution and pump. I don't want to bring any crazy, to failure, past failure that I used to do. All it's doing is messing up my quads, and it takes 4 or 5 days for them to recover. And I take the band off for the third set, just to get rid of that other strength curve at the top, because now my body knows that it's tired, and I could squeeze that no problem. So I actually went to 6 plates in lieu of the band being my de facto 6 plate on the second working set. But I like this kind of system. I moved on to a Body Masters hack press as my last movement of the day. I only did 1 set of this. I call it a day. It's part of me being smarter and just knowing when to call it quits. I did 7 sets of quads. That's plenty. They were all in my version of perfect form, and you just know when you're done, and you know to leave. If I had done a second set, I would have been having trouble waking up the next day, not wanting to do my cardio. You gotta plan your weeks out. It's got to be a system. You got to know what's coming tomorrow, and you got to be up for cardio, and you got to be ready to do it. Meal 3, the post-workout meal. 500 grams of egg whites, 3 whole eggs, 60 grams of sourdough, 40 grams cream rice, 20 grams raisins. Yeah, so all in all, a very productive session earlier with legs. Like I said, I don't want to trash my CNS. I need to get up in the morning. I need to do my cardio. I need to do my core. I need to do my mobility. And anything that's going to impede that is not going to make me a better bodybuilder. And I need to tell myself that every time I walk into the gym, just like me only doing one set of those squats. That's good enough. Any more would have had me not wanting to get out of bed and not wanting to do my cardio and, you know, having to rush and do my core and all my mobility before I train in the afternoon tomorrow, and turning it into a 3-hour session. That's just not what we want. Anyway, let's get into meal 4. Meal 4, 275 grams of ground bison, 200 grams of rice, 50 grams of zucchini, 30 grams of sauerkraut, 110 grams of apple. Final meal, 150 grams of chicken, 150 grams of rice, 50 grams zucchini, 66 grams avocado, 110 grams of apple, and a shake with 30 grams of protein from whey and 15 grams of peanut butter. I will put the macros on the screen for the full day. Thanks for watching.